everyone. Hello, Lori and Missy and Denise, Beth, Rachel, Cheryl, Gretchen. Hello, everyone. Let's see here. Y'all are talking about cataracts. Naomi, I'm going to come sit with you on your front porch. I bet it's beautiful. Let's see here. Julia, hello. Hey, Gail. Michelle, hello. Erica. All of our friends. Okay. So, hey, Brandon. Lori asked how I store my oxide inks. So first of all, I store them up on the wall, and I'm going to show you. You guys don't judge me for my mess that you're going to see over here. It's like seeing behind the curtain. Okay, so see the racks on the wall? I have those, so that's my oxide rack, and then I have my regular distress on the other side. And what I do, let me get this straight again. What I do when I get a new one in, or I should get when I do get a new one in, is I make a little sliver of paper. This is just cardstock there that I ink with whatever the color is. And I use a label maker to do the label. And then when I stick them into the little slots, then I can see and grab exactly what I need. So that, and then these are from Organize More. I will tell you that there's probably less expensive versions of this, but I got these because they come already painted white. A lot of like your organizers and things come with like raw wood, and I didn't want to mess with painting them and having to paint like all the inserts and all that. So that's what I did. And I know every once in a while they run like sales and things, so you may watch for that. Now I have a boatload of inks, because this is my job. So my regular distress is on one side, mixed with a little bit of Dawn's like older W+9 inks. And then I've got my oxides all together that almost fill one whole one. And then I've got some other ones that are mixed with like, when you get like onesie twosies of different brands or, whatever that you try out, or, you try one and you're like, oh, it's okay, but, I'll go with this. I like this brand better or whatever. But that's how I do it. And it makes it really easy. And it's just, little pieces of white scrap paper that we all have that I just kind of dip in there and get it really good and saturated and let it dry. And then I stick it on there. How did I stick these on there? Probably some kind of little, like tape runner, or like, the really heavy duty, like double-sided tape stuck on there. And I've never had a problem with any of it coming off. And you guys know how hard I am on all of my stuff. So that's what I do. It's just kind of easy peasy. Let's see. What about the one? Let's see here. Score tape. Yep. Kelley, what do you store your scrap paper? Who is that? Susan. I have an issue with scrap paper, Susan. Like a big issue. It's in a bin right now, and normally I have it organized by color in, the big like zipper pouch, like mesh zipper pouches. I had them organized by color, but I'm a paper hoarder, and which I'm glad about, because when we do a release and I'm testing all the dyes and doing everything, I can just dig through my scraps and find like little pieces. It drives Lisa crazy, but I can find little pieces because like, when I need to put together and I need a hummingbird beak or whatever, I can pull out the yellow or the black or whatever. But my scrap paper is a disaster. Mine is a disaster. I have to clean it out I clean it out maybe twice a year and make myself, and it's like torturous to go through and throw away all the little teeny tiny pieces, because like, what if you need it? Like, what if I needed it for something? I'm a paper hoarder for sure. Let's see, the Dollar Tree, they have file folder things. I have mine in those big zipper pouches that I just stick down in there, and then they're in a little basket all the zipper pouches are lined up, and I just have them kind of in rainbow order. Some colors that I don't have a lot of, let's say like blue and purple, may be in one. I love to use like pink and red are together, orange and yellow, like you can kind of just throw them in there. Let's see here. I printed out, like, yes, you guys. One of these days, I'll get my room clean and I'll show you, I'll give you a tour. But like, I feel like I'm the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain, and like you see all the pretty things in the Emerald City right here, and then everything else around is a disaster. Like there's all kinds of, like, you saw my little cords here and all that good stuff. So I can't throw out paper scraps. I know. And Lisa gets on to me because I keep all the little scraps. I have a drawer of scraps. Yep. Totally. Yay, craft room tour. It is a hot mess. I thought when we moved in this house last summer that, and it's a great room. It's a great size, but it's like a bonus room that doesn't have a closet. You can hide a lot of things in a closet. Let's just say that. No longer keeps the best clutter helping decision. See, I need to do that, Brandon. And I've gotten better. Like it's about to kill me. Like I'm going to use pattern paper tonight. And I trimmed off these little pieces from the paper. And those will probably go in the garbage. But it's like, do I really want to throw that out? Because I might use it for something. But, let's see here. Okay. So while you guys are chatting, and before we put together this hummingbird, I have to tell you, Lisa wanted to tell me that, or tell you guys, and you guys are seeing it here first, that this weekend, the 3rd through the 5th, we're having a mystery sale. Now, I'm going to tell you, it's not going to be a mystery to you guys. So it is no coupon needed. There's going to be a collection, and it's going to be save 20% off of the mystery sale collection. So the mystery sale collection, you might be asking, is, speaking of paper, it's all of the Honeybee branded paper pads. It is all the Honeybee branded gems and pearls. And it is all the Honeybee branded wax products. 20% off, no coupon code needed. There is going to be a newsletter that goes out on Friday, I believe, that gives you a link directly into that collection. But since you guys know, if you don't get the newsletter, you guys are going to know it's all of our paper pads, it's all the gems and pearls, and it's all of the wax stuff. So there you go. Okay, mystery sale. You guys are hearing it here first. And so the only other people that are going to know is who gets the newsletter. Lisa, I was just telling them about the mystery sale. So I told them, make sure I'm correct, Lisa. All of the Honeybee branded paper, Honeybee branded gems and pearls, the little adhesive things that you guys know that I'm nutty about, and then all the wax, Honeybee branded wax products. So, okay. All right. Wax beads and the wax beads and the wax stamps. Yes, I believe so. But Lisa's going to tell us here in just a second. And I think it's all that stuff. So I know nobody needs more. We were just talking about our hoards of paper, right? But, pick up, maybe you get like a Christmas pad or summary stuff that you're going to use. Some of my favorites, let me tell you some of my favorite, the bestest ones I love the pinstripes and polka dots collection because you can use those for anything. So that I would say grab those. I would say grab any of our gingham that we have left over. Again, a great basic that you can use on anything. And then any of the others, like seasonal stuff, just grab what you like that that you're going to use. Like the Christmas, let's say you like summery stuff. There's some beachy paper pads in there. There's some great fall ones. So that's that. But if it were me and I was shopping, I would get some of those good basics, like any of the pinstripe one. It's pinstripes and polka dots and the gingham. Those are my absolute favorites. Let's see, Lisa's saying all the wax products, melts, stampers, and the wax stickers too. So the little double-sided stickers like that are the, what did we just say earlier? The score, that's like score tape that come with the wax things, those are in there too. Okay, buy 3 packs for $9.99. Wow, that's a good deal too. See, who is that? Susan? See, Susan has a paper problem too. I can tell. You're shopping the deals. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the Hummingbird. Okay. So I'm going to go down to my desk view here. And if you guys are not tired of crepe paper yet, so we're going to do, somebody asked about, can you build a bird? So we're going to do it tonight. You're going to watch me test it. So I cut the whole hummingbird out of the white crepe paper. I'm going to ink blend it. Now on this piece, this is the bottom-most layer or the base layer of the hummingbird. I did cut one out of white, heavy-duty white cardstock because that's going to be a good solid base for me to stick all of the crepe paper onto when we glue it all down. And I've done that with the little flowers, not the tulips, but the bunny rabbit. I did that with the bunny rabbit as well, and it just makes a nice solid base for the larger pieces. Okay, so I'm going to start off the hummingbird. I am going to follow my layering guide. If you ever are looking for the layering guides and you did not get them in your package, you can always find them on the website. There's a spot where you can download and print. That's what I do. I don't usually get the pretty printed ones. So I'm going to start out my layer with Blueprint Sketch. And this is going to cover his little back wing right here and then down his back. Now, I will tell you, and just like the bunny rabbit, is when you cut with crepe paper, and this is kind of an obvious thing, right? When you cut with the crepe paper, because it has so much texture in it, you're going to lose some of those embossing details that press into, you know, whatever paper that you're using. So I'm going to do like so. And then I think this layer, because it's the our base layer, I'm going to go ahead and just give him an all over coat of blue ink. That way, when I go to glue this layer on top, you're not going to be able to see any of the white paper you know, poking out from around the edges and around the sides. So he's just going to get an all over layer like that, or all over coloring. So let's put that down. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue this layer on top because we're just going to color and build it. And you guys are going to, this is a test because remember the other day I told you the rabbit, like I didn't know whether the rabbit was going to work or not. And I did it off camera, so not to embarrass myself in front of all my friends, because I didn't know how it was going to look. Now, same thing goes with the Hummer here, is we'll see how this little guy is going to turn out. So it could be gorgeous, could be one of Kelley's hot messes. We're gonna all find out together. So let's get this little guy's. Got to get his beak all lined up here and set down. And I'm just going to press that glue just like that. And then I'm going to very carefully pick up that whole layer and then I'm going to just set that aside. All right, now let's do a little wipe down here before I grab my next layer. Now for the next one, I am going to grab, and I've got, you guys know about my happy little dishes here with all of my cute little die cuts. I'm going to grab this funny little piece right here that is his tail. And I'm going to do this in mustard seed. So it's just going to poke out. Let's do a little tap, tap, tap here. It's just going to kind of poke out down there. And you can see how well that paper takes ink. There was a lot of questions about, you know, will it hold ink? What does it do? You know, and I'm not careful with my die cuts. I am pretty rough and tumble with it. So it holds up really well. Okay, so I'm just going to layer this over his little tail, and I'm just going to maneuver it around just like that. And then we can make sure that it is all wiggled in there. All right, so we've got that layer all done, and let me see. Let's clean that up. And then let's see what portion we want to do next. Let's do this one, which is his next like largest body portion. Now you see where those embossing lines, it does press in there. It's just, I think that when you put it all together, it's just not going to give you the wow as like it does when you have it all on flat cardstock, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense to everybody. But, you know, if you wanted to make it a little more artsy or have a little more texture or whatever, we can do that. Okay, so I think for this portion, I'm trying to think what I want to do here. I think I'm going to take the yellow and I'm going to do like lighter, I think. May go up like yellow on his little belly right there. And then I think I'm going to pull in some of the gray. So I'm going to start with Lost Shadow. And that almost is so pale, it almost looks like it's got nothing on it. And then let's see here. I'm going to take one of our little blenders, and I'm just going to get, this is Hickory Smoke, so this is a little bit darker. And I'm just going to give a little bit of shading, like right along the edge of his little wing right there. But you can see how nicely that crepe paper, it really does pick up the color and everything pretty well. All right, so let's set those aside. Now, let me see how this little guy is going to look here. If we put this guy down, that's going to go right about there. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue him. You know what? I don't want to leave off any of my little parts, so I'm glancing over at my layering guide. And I'm probably adding more dots of glue, you know, right around, because the crepe paper does have a little bit more of the crinkle factor, you know, than just your everyday cardstock, where I can add kind of a little dot here and there and then slip and slide it around until I get it, you know, exactly where I want it to go. Come on, little beak. And then let's maneuver you down. Oh boy. He may have a blue belly. Let's see here if I can. Oh, there we go. Let me maneuver. There we go. There we go. That makes me feel better. Okay, now let me get up under that base layer. Then we can move the whole thing around. Okay, so here's what we're looking at right now. Looks like a hot mess, right? Hopefully he's going to look cute in the end. Okay, I'm going to move him to the side, and let's pull out our next layer. So the next layer is this funny little layer that looks really silly to me, and it is this layer right here. So it is his little head, and then goes up on his little wing there, and then this here is also kind of that green. So I'm going to find that little tail layer too, and I'm just going to lay it down because I'm going to do them all in the same color. So let me pull out, let's see if I have, I don't think I got my brush for that color. So we're going to make one. So I'm going to use Rustic Wilderness, and we're going to give him a little bit of a green head. So I've got my green. Let's see. The layering guides are great. They are. Okay, so the main thing that's going to show on this part is what's on the top of his little head. And so we can go here. You know, I can fade it up just like we do on florals and things. Like if you want it darker in one spot, that's where you're going to set your brush. Same thing here. I probably want it darker up here to where it connects up here on his little bum. So I'm going to do that and then maybe make it a little lighter as it fades down his little tail. Okay, so let's pull this little guy back over here and we can start adding his little parts on. So I'm going to add our little dots. All the way down. And then I'm going to put this right on his little head first and get it kind of situated. Come on. And there we go. All the way up to the tippy top of his little wing. There we go. Okay, now let's do his little tail. Where his tail looks like it has been, like it curls up on one another. I don't know if that makes sense. Like this green would be kind of the top portion of his tail coming down off of his back. And then the yellow portion would be what is on the underneath. Okay, so let's grab this portion. And this is what's going to go right up here. And this is what it would be like the top portion or down his back. And so it's going to be, I should have done it with the blue earlier, but of course I didn't think that far ahead. Let's see, let me grab the right brush. I'm going to use what's on my brush and kind of go up this way. There we go. And then I can add some little dots right there on the tippy top. And then let's add the top portion of his little wing. And he should start starting to look like a hummingbird. There we go. Okay, so he's coming together. All right, now let me move him aside again. Let's put him right there. Do a little clean off. And then now let's do his little red chest. So this is going to go this way. And I'm going to start with what's on my brush for my lumberjack plaid. And let's see, may not need to make this very dark. I'm going to make it darker on that end and kind of fade it down a little bit. Okay, and then we'll take his little red chest. And then this is going to go right up. You know what's easier? Pause. I'm going to lay that right there because I think it's going to be easier to do his little beak first and then add his little chest because they kind of butt into one another. So I'm going to take that And then let's get, that's not the right brush. I'm going to use my little brush. It would be easier with the big brush. This is black soot. I'm just going to give him a little black beak. You could do orange or yellow or whatever. And then I left his little eyeball in the dye, so I didn't lose it. And so I'm going to poke it out right there. There we go. Okay, now let's work on this little guy. So I want to add his beak on first because that's going to help me to line up his little red chest. Funny enough. Okay. So let's get that down on there. There we go. And then his little eyeball. Whoops. Okay, pause for glue. Glue down. Okay. And then I'm going to add my little dot of glue for his eye. I'm going to put it, you can still see the little embossed area right there. I'm just going to add it right in there. Sometimes it's easier to add on the bigger portion or on the base than it is to add it on the little tiny dot. Okay, now we can do his little chest. Y'all probably heard my little bird. My family may be coming in the door, and she is going to tell everybody all about it. She's very sassy. Okay, so this is going to line up and go all the way, and I want to make sure I get everybody moving the same direction here. But I think I can kind of lay down and manipulate. Lay down and then kind of slide it over. Line it up. There you go. Okay, so we've got him like pretty well all put together. I could probably zhuzh that up a little bit more into the little spot. All right, so now we've got our little hummingbird all put together. Now, you could always, like these details in the wings and things right there, if you wanted to go back in and add like your colored pencils or whatever to, I do that sometimes, especially on our florals, to kind of make those details pop out again. You can do that. This crepe paper will take the colored pencil. I don't recommend Copic markers because Copic markers are made to bleed a little bit and blend. That's like their whole thing. And this crepe paper is going to soak up that any kind of marker really heavily. It's just going to soak it all up and it's going to bleed. In fact, I did that on the cheeks of the little rabbit the other day and the nose, and that's how I tested that. I did that. Okay, great idea to use crepe paper. I have a spritz with glitter spray. You could totally use glitter spray or like a Wink of Stella or like our honeybee little glittery stuff. Now, I will say that when you do that with oxide ink or any kind of distress, because you're adding a liquid to it, it is going to make your ink activate, if that makes sense, because that's just the nature of those inks. And it also, I haven't tried to add it to the crepe paper yet because anything that's super wet is, I don't know how it's going to react to the paper, but we could try. I've got a Wink of Stella right here. Let's see what it does. And then we'll put the card together. Let me see if I can get the little thing off. All right, so let's do, let me squeeze a little bit out. All right, let's go back here. All right, and then I'm going to take off, like I got it active on my brush, and I'm going to take a lot of it, kind of, I don't want it super wet, but I can kind of put it maybe like on his little wings. That does give him a little sparkle. And then I'm going to kind of, I'm dabbing off my brush like this, and then maybe pick up just a hair and like on his little head where he would be a little bit sparkly. And I can already tell right here that it's making that paper just a little bit wet, but it does, like, you could be careful and add a little bit of shimmer. You could probably add, let me think, like a, what are those things? Like a Stickles that's the shimmery, and kind of just dab on, or even use a paintbrush or something and spread your Stickles. That wouldn't be nearly as wet, if that makes sense. And so you might be able to try that. Okay. So let's put this card together with our little hummingbird. Let's see here. Let me get it back on there. Good. Move everything out of the way. Okay, so for my card base, I have some of our pattern paper. Let me come out here just a little bit. Some of our pattern paper, and then I just cut a white piece of cardstock and use the Sandy's Garden embossing folder. And this pattern paper is actually from, I believe it's from the, I want to tell you the correct one. It's from the Textiles and Textures Celebrate. It's this little yellow right here. Let's see what's on the back side, just to be, it's like a little kind of rainbowy thing. All right, so this is a 5x7 card, and I'm just going to add a little dab will do you back here. And let's put this down and get that shimmied into place. My card base is a little bit big, but I'll show you how I remedy that. Does anybody else do this? Like if your paper is a little bit off? That's what I do, and then nobody will ever know. Okay, so now let's get this down there. And I'm just going to hit the high points here with the glue. And then I'm going to kind of pop that in the center and then shimmy it around. That's one thing that I have noticed in playing with the crepe paper is when you have your, regular cardstock, let's say, like this little guy, you can kind of shimmy and you can manipulate it like this with your fingers. There's not a whole lot of wiggle room, like literal wiggle room in the crepe paper. So, okay, now I did an iris today, and I don't know that I'm super crazy about it, but we'll see. I did an iris to go on this card, and it was like a trial and error. Now, I love the petals. I love the crinkle of the crepe paper. Okay, so this whole thing is crepe paper with the exception of this back layer, as I told you. I got wild in here trying to make it look nice, but we're just going to go with that. I think the flower as a whole is cute. Kelley just got a little crazy on the things. Hold on. I feel like I have to talk to you. I almost have to feel like I'm seeing your faces. Your bird sounds like a table saw. It may be the fan. It's so hot in here. My craft room has really big windows, but the bird makes a beep, 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 beep sound. Kelley, it's beautiful. This is a lesson. What time is it? 35. I got to get going. This is Kelley's lesson for this evening. Is I should have just left well enough alone, because it looked beautiful, and I showed Lisa and I was like, oh, this looks great. I think the iris turned out really pretty. And if you'll notice here, look, I started with yellow crepe paper. I started with the yellow because I thought, oh, I'm going to leave the center yellow. This is my whole like brain thinking. See where it's the yellow back there? And I'm going to leave the centers yellow and blah, blah, blah. And Kelley did not leave well enough alone. So if I were to do it again, I would leave well enough alone. Because, Lori, I think, tells me sometimes when I go to adding like all my little gems and all my little things, is sometimes Lori tells me less is more. Less should have been more today, Lori. I did not learn my lesson. Okay, I'm going to hold this down for a second because I need to let the glue attach to those bumpy parts in the embossed paper. So I'm just going to let that do its thing for just a second. But I have to tell you, the petals and the layers and like all, hold on. The petals and the layers and everything, I love, love, love the way that it turned out, especially for an iris, because, an iris is really like ribbony, and is that a word? Ribbony is very like frilly little petals and things. And so honestly, it was beautiful before I started messing with it. Let's say it reminds me of, it does kind of like printed fabric. Let's say it's so cool how it turned out, and love the yellow is behind it. Yes. And so I started with yellow because I was thinking, the irises, a lot of them have like the really pretty different colored centers. And I was like, okay, well, let's see if this was Lisa and I chatting today. If I start with yellow and just ink on the blue on the edges, I wonder if the paper will just turn green and then it's not going to be cute. No, you can make it blue. Let me scoot that little guy aside. You can totally make that. So here's another lesson in the crepe paper, right? You can, I turned it blue and it didn't turn green, but then this got too blue in there, and then I tried to fix it and it was a whole situation. So lesson learned. Okay, let's give this little guy, I feel like he needs a little dimension, maybe just, just a hair. So I'm going to pop those on there. And maybe that'll help this little guy. It's going to keep him, he's going to be kind of fluttering up here since we've got kind of this guy hanging off the edge. And then I'm just going to put a pretty little sentiment there. Okay, so let's do a sentiment and I'm grabbing again. Let's go down here. I'm grabbing again this Celebrating You because it just has really pretty elegant looking sentiments. And I feel like the hummingbirds are elegant. So I'm just going to stamp this, and I've got somewhere, speaking of scrap paper, if I can find my little scrap, and let's do wishing you everything wonderful on your birthday. That's a pretty little sentiment. So let's do that one. And then we'll die cut it and pop that puppy on there. And then we'll have a little hummingbird card with the crepe paper. Okay, now question is, do we do this in a color? I think, you know what? I'm just going to do this in good old black ink. Let's do good old black ink, just like that. Keep it simple. And then I am going to dry this just for a second. All right, there we go. Now let's find this little die. And normally I can pick them out. Let's see here how much success that I have. It's a long one. I know it's not that one. It's a double liner. It's not that one. Okay, I'm going to have to use Kelley's trick here for this one. And it may be right there. Okay. So when in doubt, just flip the stamps upside down and then it finds it faster. There we go. Oh, that's not even it. I lied. Totally lied. Here it is. I saw the swirl of what I thought was the W, and then that wasn't even it. Okay, let's line that up. Stick that down. And I'm just going to grab my little baby bitty buzz cutter. Okay, so I know you guys, all of our friends, most of our friends here have heard this. We are sold out of these at the second. I get emails almost every day asking. We're sold out of these at the minute, at the second, at the moment, but we are manufacturing more, so they will be restocked. We do not have an estimated date yet. So, all right, there is that. Let's put those away. And then I'm just going to add this guy like right down in here, I think. Let's go ahead and just do liquid. Let's see here what you're saying. Let's see, I think in the regular packaging, the stamps and the dies are in the same place on the sheets. I think so too. Missy, I think you're right. But here's the story. And you guys know, because we talked about my paper hoard and my scraps and all that. When I transfer them over to this really nice packaging that has the magnets and stuff, so I'm not complaining because it's so helpful to have the really nice packaging and the magnets and stuff. I just stick them on there, and then they get turned around and lost and not put in the packaging where they go. If I paid more attention, there we go. But you guys know Kelley is, let's see, it's actually in Blueprint Sketch, believe it or not. But I don't know, like it does look like, no, it has to be. It does look like it's darker, doesn't it? I know I went to town and I added a whole lot of ink to that because here's the difference. That is started on yellow paper and this started on white. So, and I saturated that really, really heavily to get that really deep blue. And then this started on white. So you're getting the true color of the Blueprint Sketch on the bird more than you are the iris. Does that make sense? I hope. It's because it's the base color is different. I hope that makes sense. I was hoping they would be the same color because I wanted them to kind of all blend and match. You know, say lovey. Yes, it does. Okay, yeah. It still looks pretty. It's going to be, you know, you guys are at trial and error along with me with the crepe paper. It's like a totally a new adventure for us at Honeybee Stamps. So, but it's kind of fun. And I think the bird, he turned out, for him being really like the crinkly of the crepe paper, I think he turned out pretty good. Like if you wanted a very realistic hummingbird, you may not want to use the crepe paper, or here's what you do is you use the crepe paper for like a couple of these little layers right here, maybe up under his wing and right here. And maybe on his little face and down the rest, you use flat cardstock, mix and match, because that's where you're going to, you're going to see like the texture of his belly and stuff like that with the crepe paper. Whereas you're keeping those embossed lines and all the little details like in his head and up in here with like the flat white cardstock. I hope that makes sense, but mix and match. That's what I did with the bunny rabbit. Is parts of his ears and stuff are white paper, or started out as white cardstock, and then his body and his face and his little legs are crepe paper. So, but the flower, I think it's going to be a hit with the flowers, you guys. I really do. I'm loving the way that it makes all the petals and stuff look crinkly and real. It just makes them look more realistic. Whereas, flat white cardstock, there's only so much you can do to shape your petals and do stuff like that. So I hope that makes sense. Hope that makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to let Lisa give us our winners for this evening. We are actively right now working on more colors. And while Lisa is picking our winner, I'll tell you, we're working on doing like a green pack, like a red and pink for florals and stuff like that. Kind of splitting them up. That way you can kind of buy what you like. The larger cape is perfect with the iris and having the bird up there. Okay, Jen Timko. You're the winner. Congratulations. All right, Jen Timko, if you will email customercare@honeybeestamps.com to claim your prize, I am going to hook you up. Congratulations, Jen. I hope you are safe and well, my friend. Traveling a lot, I betcha. And I will see the rest of you on Monday. I promise you. No, I'm not going to promise you no crepe paper, but I'll promise you we'll move on. This is three cards with crepe paper. So I'm sure you guys are sick of me and crepe paper. All right. Congratulations, Jen. You all have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you on Monday. Bye-bye.